Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. My name is Ron Rainey, and I'm excited to moderate this huddle for this session, which focuses on agriculture, food security, and assistance. We've got a tight schedule because we have 7 presenters lined up to provide some of the resources and technical assistance that they have to assist us as we look at building community resilience. And we're just going to get right into the presentations. I'll encourage everyone to mute their line so to eliminate some of the background noise. And if you have questions, just type them in chat. We're going to wait till the end of all of the presenters to ask our questions, just to allow all the presenters to have adequate time to present. And so I will give each presenter, I'll give you a 1-minute warning throughout if looks like you're not toward the end of your presentation. But we're going to get started looking at CFAP and farm loan flexibility. That's the topic. Coming from USDA Farm Service Agency, where we have Ag Program Specialist Tina Carmichael and Farm Loan Officer Priscilla Wade.
Okay, if you would go to the first slide, please. Okay, Farm Service Agency is a part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, where we provide programs and loans to help farmers, ranchers, and agricultural partners organization where we provide food, fuel, and fiber to millions of people worldwide. Next slide. Yes, FSA is open for business. FSA county offices are open in Arkansas by in-person. Let me say that again, in-person and phone appointments only until further notice. You would have to contact your local FSA office to set up an in-person or a phone appointment, and we will let you know what's available and what location you can come and hold that appointment. FSA staffs are available to continue to helping producers with important actions. Our website is listed below, so if there's a question as far as what area FSA is located in your town, you can go to that link and it will tell you the locations of FSA offices and what office is open in that county. Did you know that FSA will be accepting additional forms for applications? You can do it by fax or you can do it by electronic signature. So if there's a form that you have to submit to the office, since our doors are not open 8 hours a day, then you can fax us that information or you can electronically sign it and email us that information. And if you want to know more information about that, you can go to the farmers.gov website. With their website, you'll be able to look at your payments, track your application, track any loan information that you may want to see. Just remember to go to farmers.gov. In order to do that, you do have to have an EOP identification number, and that is required to go into farmers.gov. So just make sure you go into farmers.gov/sign-in, and that will prompt you to enter the information. And once you enter that information, then it will give you an EOP number, which will allow you to use that access to farmers.gov, where you can access your information at any time. Today's focus, we will do the coronavirus food assistance program, which will be done by my colleague Tina, and then I will come back and do the farm loan flexibilities. So next you will hear from Tina.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Priscilla said, my name is Tina Carmichael, and I am a agricultural program specialist in the state office in Little Rock. And the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program is one of my programs that I administer through that office. Just to give you an overview of the CFAP program, it provides vital financial assistance that improves the ability to absorb sales losses and increased marketing costs associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. It is funded by 2 different acts. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Stability Act, or the CARES Act, and the Commodity Credit CCC Charter Act is the way that we are paying our producers through this program. FSA and AMS, the Agricultural Marketing Service, administers these programs. Sign up is going on right now. We started accepting applications on May 26th of this year, and we will continue to accept applications through August 28th. For more information on this program, if you go to farmers.gov/CFAP, it kind of gives you an outline of things, and you can even print off some forms that may be needed that you can fill out ahead of time before you go to the office. So there are a list of eligible commodities. Those are dairy, livestock, non-specialty crops and wool, and specialty crops. I'm going to reference the same website several times throughout these slides. You can go here and find a complete list of all the eligible commodities, and each category has a list of payment criteria and different things on those. Additional commodities were added. The announcement came out on July 9th of this year. There were some other adjustments that were also made to the program based on comments that were received from agricultural producers and organizations and review of the market data. These commodity additions and changes took effect on July 13th. And again, for a complete list of these additions and changes, go to farmers.gov/CFAP. So who's eligible? An eligible producer is a person or legal entity who shares in the risk of producing the crop or the livestock, and who is entitled to share in the crop or livestock available for marketing, or who would have shared had the crop or livestock been produced and marketed. Persons and legal entities who had a share in the eligible commodity on January 15th of this year, and or from April 16th through May 14th of this year. And this is all commodities other than dairy. Now for dairy, the months of January, February, and March of 2020 are the eligible months for dairy. So to be eligible for a CFAP payment, a person or legal entity must be one of the following: a citizen of the United States, a resident alien possessing a resident alien card or an I-551, a partnership of citizens of the United States, a corporation, LLC, or other structure under state law, an Indian tribe or tribal organization, a foreign person or a foreign entity who meets foreign person rules as defined by USDA. So there are some eligibility forms that are required for you to participate in this program. Those would be a completed 941, which is our AGI showing your average adjusted gross income for the program year 2020 that must not exceed the $900,000 limit unless at least 75% of the producer's average AGI is from farming, ranching, or forestry operations. A certification of conservation compliance with highly erodible land and conservation and wetland conservation provisions. This is our form AD 1026 that would need to be completed by a producer applying for the program. The next form would be an automated 902, which would have to be completed by all applicants. That would include your name, address, taxpayer identification number for each person or legal entity, and if it's a legal entity, for all members, member information for legal entities, including any joint operations, which is a joint venture or a partnership, citizenship status for the person or legal entity and all of the members of the entity, and contributions of any foreign persons. Now, there's a deadline for filing all these eligibility documents, and that is within 60 calendar days from the date of signing a CFAP application. So there is a payment limitation for CFAP payments, and
You have
that
one.
payment limit, that's okay. That payment limit is $250,000 for any person or legal entity, excluding general partnerships and joint ventures. And the limitation applies to the total amount of CFAP payments for all eligible commodities. There are some special payment eligibility rules, and those apply to corporations, limited liability companies, and limited partnerships or corporate entities. These corporate entities may receive up to $750,000 based on the number of shareholders not to exceed 3 who are contributing at least 400 hours of active personal labor, active personal management, or a combination of labor and management. So for a corporation with, or a corporate entity with 1 shareholder, the payment limit would be $250,000. 2 shareholders, the payment would be $500,000, and 3, it would be $750 for those members contributing at least 400 hours of labor management or a combination of those 2. So the payment structure is set up right now to ensure the availability of funding throughout the application period. Producers would receive 80% of their maximum total payment upon approval of the application. And the remaining portion of the payment, not to exceed the payment limit, would be paid at a later date as long as the funds remain available. So where should you go to file the application? FSA staff at your local USDA service center is going to work with you to file these applications. They may be submitted via mail, fax, hand delivery, or any electronic means. Just need to call the office prior to sending applications electronically so they can be on the lookout for those. We don't want it to get lost in the shuffle because we are taking many applications. As of this morning, we had taken over 15,000 applications within the state.
Next up, we have Dr. Calvin King, who's talking about COVID-19 Farm Aid Grant, Arkansas Farm and Land Development Corporation President and CEO. Dr. King, the floor is yours.
Yes, Dr. Rainey. Good afternoon, everyone. Very briefly, Arkansas Land and Farm Development Corporation, we've been around. This is our 14th. It is also brought about some tremendous changes for us, just as it has for most other organizations and agencies as well. So we're having to do things differently. And, of course, one of the things that we have addressed over the years is addressing issues as it related to the underserved and unserved segments of the population, and particularly the minority farmer segment of our population. And of course, we also sometimes communicate in the fashion saying it can also be the hard to serve segment of the population as well. And there are various reasons for that, and I will not go into any discussion in that regard. The Arkansas Land and Farm Development Corporation was created back in 1980, and it was to address the issue of Black land loss and limited resource and family farmer decline in the state of Arkansas. And it continues to operate accordingly in partnership with our other subsidiary organization, a partner organization, Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation. The Farm Aid Program is actually a partnership initiative that we got engaged in with the Farm Aid. And I don't know if you all have heard of Farm Aid, but Farm Aid is a national organization headed by Willie Nelson, and everyone's heard of Willie Nelson. We also work with Farmers Legal Action organizational group as well. They're part of this whole process. The Farm Aid initiative that we're partnering with, the intent was to provide some very minimum supportive systems to those who may not have been able to access or to benefit from some of the COVID-19 supportive systems that exist. More than anything, what's really important to us about this whole process, it was also allowing us an opportunity to identify those individuals and the constituents. So we posted it both to our website, and we specifically published it in our newsletter. Some of you may have seen this particular newsletter called the Advancer. And it had been published in the Advancer also prior to the recent issue. We normally would do our newsletter on a quarterly basis, a semi-annual basis. With COVID-19, we've been pretty much so producing it on a monthly basis, one based on in an attempt to keep communication and direct link back to our constituents and to try to provide as much information as possible. And that information is not just on Arkansas Land and Farm Development Corporation, Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation, and program services we provide, but on the other partner agencies that we work with. You will notice if you have not received that particular newsletter, you can either email me or call our office and we'll get one in the mail to you. along with the farm aid package, one of the requirements without dealing with the distribution of those dollars to the individuals that qualify for it, and we say with special need, it's not like, you know, a operating loan. It's not to go into a particular farm operation for operating expenses. We try to work through that process back with partnering with Farm Service Agency. It's not to deal with dealing with cost share or anything like that, even how we work with them with NRCS and conservation program type of services that exist and how to access those. But other type of special needs where people may have challenges with certain bills and maybe utility bills, you know, it could be something as it relates to medical, being able to actually purchase that medicine. You know that the population of our farmers that we work with, particularly again African-American farmers and limited resource minority farmers, it's also the older, more aging population of our farmers as well. And so they also have other type of needs that exist. What we found in this process, again, is access to information and having information is really, really important. We were absolutely amazed I guess the number of farmers and number of individuals that did not realize that they were eligible for the PPP funding support. Of course, and we published that in a previous publication we put out as we were finding out that they didn't realize that they were eligible for and could participate in the PPP program, which is the payroll protection program. I'm just assuming everyone know what that represents. But the payroll protection program through SBA, and of course it was being implemented or administered by the banks. Many of them did not realize or know that if they had a LLC, a limited liability corporation, and they had individuals that possibly may not be working, or if those individuals were working less because of cash flow or other challenges that they were having, those individuals who received a 1099 also qualified for the program, the payroll protection program. So it was really sort of astonishing, astonishing to us that our constituents really just did not have the information. I apologize for that, you all. That they just really did not have the information about the resources that exist. So it's not as much about the farm aid grant with COVID-19 and what we are doing with that limited amount of resources that we have. It's more so about providing information and accessing information on what the needs are of those individuals that's out there, and hopefully be able to have a greater impact on disseminating and getting the information out to them as this next stimulus package comes out, getting the information out to them on how to access some of those resources. Again, if you did not get the publication, one of the things that we published in the last newsletter, or some say news magazine now that went out, and we'll continue to do this, is all the information on the 2018-2019 Farm Bill. And this is actually communication that we provided to was provided to us by Farm Service Agency, one of the new outreach publications that has to do with all the USDA agencies and the type of services and how they partner and work under what you call one USDA. So that's a part of the publication as well. Again, with this process and dealing with farm aid, so the farm aid grant is one thing, is minimum, but what is more powerful about what this initiative is about is making sure that everyone who applies, that they get the information in what we call the COVID-19, navigating COVID-19 relief. And it gives a list of the information on the various agencies that's implementing various programs that can be beneficial both to small rural businesses, to limited resource minority farmers. I see Dr. Rainey is probably signaling me my time is about up. I know Dr. Rainey quite well. He has a way with a silent tone of saying, you know, your time is up now. So again, Dr. Rainey, I really appreciate having this opportunity. The University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, along with USDA liaison office, Ms. Bell. Our phone number to reach us by phone, you can reach me at area code 870-734-1140 for additional information or follow-up. Or you can email me at calvinrkingsr@yahoo.com. We also have a website, and I don't have that memorized, but we have a website you can go to and get information on this as well.
Thank you, Dr. King. And I just want to let everybody know that we're going to send out these slides that are being shared on the screen with the contact information for all of the presenters. And I'm trying to get a few minutes at the end that we can allow some Q&A that people are posting in the chat. But because we have just a tight schedule, just going to move along very quickly. To continue this resiliency conversation, we got farmers and youth education resilience. We have the Assistant Director of East Arkansas Enterprise Community, Frederick Smith. Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much, and appreciate the opportunity behind Dr. King, who was instrumental, one of the individuals instrumental in helping the East Arkansas Enterprise community get started. He, along with gentlemen like Earl Moore, Mr. Tommy Davis, and several others who helped the enterprise get started from an initiative launched by the USDA back in the late 90s. And so we're appreciative of him, as well as those other gentlemen who helped us to get going. And also naturally, as many have already talked about, the partnerships that we have that help us to be viable and be able to serve the communities in which we live. The USDA, naturally, Belinda Bell, her office has been great. Ms. Brenda Matthews, who we've been in contact with, she's been very, very helpful to us in keeping us updated and posted. And then University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, our chancellor, Dr. Alexander, and then Dr. Butler, who is the dean of the School of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Human Resources and Human Sciences. We thank them so much. And then Mississippi State University, the Southern Rural Development Center, for them being able to help put all of this together. And we're glad to be a partner of that. So again, with that being said, with our history, the enterprise community, we were started from an initiative launched by the USDA. We're a community-based, incorporated nonprofit organization. The good thing is we're made up of citizens, nonprofits, our local, state, and federal government agencies, with the vision that we have to sustain, to support, and to empower our communities. And what the enterprise community has worked so diligently to do is to try to be a hub, a place where we can help these partners, the necessary people, come to the table to provide just some place to have the meeting of the minds. The enterprise community, we like to look at ourselves like a central hub, although we may not be the ones actually doing the work. But if we can bring all of the necessary partners to the table and get some lessons learned, get some information shared, then we're able to go back into our communities from that information that is shared, and we're able to serve better. I'll say this in a little humor. I am part of the enterprise community. So not only am I selling this, I am also a user of this. When I first got out of college, the enterprise community hired me through an initiative that was started from the Mid-South Delta Initiative, the Kellogg Foundation, and the enterprise community partnered together to try to create this consortium of youth serving organizations. And from that youth serving organization, I was hired as the youth coordinator. So I'm not only selling this program, I am also a user of it. I believe in it, and I know that it works. And so we were able to come together and create that 21-member youth consortium that serves throughout the 4 counties and the champion communities, the 11 towns that we serve, and trying to bring young people together to have different opportunities to grow and to develop themselves personally and professionally. And so that's kind of a history of the enterprise community and how we got started, and how we serve is through benchmarks. The enterprise community in its initiation had 11 benchmarks, and over the years, we've now really focused in on about 4 of those benchmarks to help us serve in a more efficient way, Health and outreach and education is one. Youth leadership development is another. Agriculture and small farmer outreach and education, and then business development outreach. So through those 4 benchmarks, we're trying to really focus in on how we're going to serve our communities through those particular ways. So what are some of the things we're doing, or as Dr. Cole has made mention to me in times past, what are some of the things we're trying to do? And so what we're trying to do, naturally, as some have already stated, the pandemic has changed so much about our procedures and how we serve and how we move forward, which is one of the things that we're also taking advantage of right now. I mean, who would have thought in years past that we would be sitting in a Zoom wherever you are, and it's over 100 people utilizing this technology. So in doing that, we've understood the need at the enterprise community for e-connectivity. We need to figure out a way of how we're going to stay connected and keep serving the communities that we've been serving. In times past, what we have done through our youth intern program, we have been able to place youth on various sites throughout the service areas that we have. But now, because we can't do that, so many of the offices and small businesses are closed due to the pandemic. We're still trying to figure out a way of how we connect people. And naturally, technology has to be the way that we do it now. And so we're using these educational purposes, these educational resources to keep us connected in such a way so that we can continue serving. Naturally, you talk about Facebook Live, Zoom, Google Classroom. What we're trying to present now to our youth is an educational form that they can still learn about the importance of agriculture as it pertains to their careers, food production, and many other levels in the agriculture field that they can be able to grow professionally and personally. So we know that there are different challenges. You know, what do we need to make this happen? Who can we partner with to make this happen? How do we make it happen? There are still so many things that we're trying to figure out and work through. But what we're again trying to do as the enterprise community, and I'll come to my close, is create this seamless system. And that's why being a part of this forum is so important. And all of our partners that we work with, we're trying to create a seamless system so that all the people that we serve, no one falls through the cracks. And we know that with these partnerships and the things that we're trying to make happen, we'll be able to catch and help and serve as many as we possibly can. So I think that's my time. Again, my name is Frederick Smith. I'm the Assistant Director for the East Arkansas Enterprise Community, and I approve this message. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Smith. Hopefully we'll get to some questions. Moving right into our next topic, where we're looking at heirs property and production resilience. We have Marcia King from the King Law Center and Dr. Henry English from UAPB Small Farm Program to address these topics. So gentlemen, please go ahead.
Okay, this is Henry English. I'm not sure about Mercer, but I guess I will go ahead. And I see we don't have much time, so I'm going to get right to it. Okay, when I talked to Ms. Bell about this presentation, she and I decided that what I needed to talk about was that with COVID-19 going on, there's so many people that are losing their jobs. So many people, people working at restaurants, bars, hotels, they are losing their job. And what if these people wanted to farm? A lot of these may have a history, something relating to farming. They may want to get back to farming. So what if these people wanted to farm? Then what could UAPB do to help these people who want to farm? Well, if these people want to farm, then they are beginning farmers. There are a lot of programs for beginning farmers. Okay, so what we would do with this person is, first of all, we would sit him down with our farm business specialist and look at the economics of what he wants to do. Is it feasible? Is it economically feasible? A lot of people think that agriculture, there's a lot of money in it, but they have never looked at the economics of it. So the first thing that we're going to do is look at the economic feasibility of that. We will introduce them to enterprise budgets, okay, that would give you the expenses of it, how much it costs, and the projected income. We also introduce them to the National Agricultural Statistical Service that will give them information on what the average yields are, and also we would give them the prices. So we would do everything that we could to help them realize the feasibility of that particular that particular operation or whatever they wanted to do. So that's the first thing we would do. Next, we would look about the land, okay? A lot of times, is the land suitable? I remember at our church, one of the members had the idea of a nice garden. So me being in agriculture, naturally, I was appointed to go look at the garden. Well, when I looked at it, it was full of trees and water, so the land wasn't suitable. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that land is suitable. We introduce them to the Web Soil Survey, okay? That will tell them just about everything they want to know about that soil if it's suitable. Another thing we want to do is we want them to take simple soil tests, okay? Soil tests. That would tell me if they need lime. So if they need lime, that's an additional expense, okay? This is something that they actually need to know. Is there some additional expense that they would need? We would also want them to do a compaction test. Sometimes we drive this big equipment, we got hard pans and etc. If there's a compacted layer there, that's going to cost them more. We may have to irrigate more. So these are some things that we would need to know. Okay, we also ask them to look at the history of the land. There's a weed out here we call pigweed. It takes over everything. If you don't know anything about it, it would take your whole crop. So we would also help them with the land. The next thing we would do is introduce them to these important, USDA programs. There's some very important USDA programs that these people need to know about. The conservation program, the EQIP, and the CSP program. These are programs that provide finances to help them, improve the land. If the land needs some sort of improvement, they need to utilize these particular programs. So we will make sure that they use these programs. We would also help them to use those programs. Two other programs we would like to know about is crop insurance and NAP. We know that a flood or something can wipe out your crop right away. Okay, so these people must know about that. So we're going to make sure that they know about crop insurance and NAP, and that they use these particular programs, and that they know to go to the FSA office, sign up for that. Okay, we have a lot of problems with vegetable growers. A lot of vegetable growers, they will not go to the FSA and report their crop. Okay, so when there's a disaster that come up, when they go to the FSA office, there's nothing on record. So we got to make sure that they know to do that. We don't have that problem with we don't have that problem with the row crop guy. Also, last but not least, is marketing. You don't make any money growing crops. You make money selling crops. You got to put an emphasis on developing a marketing plan and knowing what to do. Ron Rainey used to talk about the 5 P's of marketing, etc. We do go over that, okay, the 5 P's. We also, one of the most important thing is to know your cost of production. So we will let them do that. And last but not least, I want to give Mercer some time to get in, is we will have a beginning farmers program. We will have a class next year. In 2021, we will have a class, okay? We will be looking for individuals to participate in that particular class. So next year we will have a class that will be a 7-month class. We'll have 7 workshops. We will have 1 workshop per month for 7 days. And with that, I cut it off because I'm king.
I want to thank Ms. Belinda Bell, the USDA liaison, for putting this on. I also want to thank the University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, particularly the School of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Human Sciences, and Dr. English for cooperating with this presentation. I know we have to be quick, so I'll jump right into it. I've been dealing with air property since 2007, 2008, when I started law school at the Bowen Law School in Little Rock, working with Calvin King, Dr. Calvin King and his organization. And I have created air property clinics where landowners will come by and they'll learn how to make the best economic use of their land, and also how to correct some of the common problems that come up in air property. And in my private practice, I do devote some time to that to help landowners, low resource farmers here in the state, to correct issues that often arise with air property. But before I get into the issues, I want to define what air property is. That air property is land that is co-owned by 2 or more individuals who have acquired their property through the death of a relative or somebody that they're related to. So that the person who died without a will, and the land passed through what's called intestate succession. And that goes to who the state says it goes to, which generally are your kids or your kids' kids or the next of kin if you do not have any children. But we know mostly in the minority landowner community, we have a bunch of kids. So it goes to all of our children and they become what's called co-tenants. The legal term is co-tenants. So they own their land as co-tenants, with each of them having the same undivided interest in the land. So with that definition out the way, what are some of the common issues that arise from air property? Well, some of the common issues that arise from air property generally is clouded title. We have multiple owners that all have the equal rights to the land, but nobody owns the land in whole. So what happens is that creates problems. And when you talk about taking out mortgages or getting financing, when you talk about renting or leasing the land out to tenant farmers or to people who want to harvest the timber or harvest what's being produced on the land, that creates a problem. Why? Because all of the heirs have to agree on how that land is managed, how the crops are harvested, how the timber is harvested, and how those assets are used. And if we all know families, we know that it's hard to agree. So this is where I come in. As the attorney, those are some issues that I will rectify by filing the necessary documents in courts. One of the first things that you have to do is get a determination of the heirs, where the court will issue an order saying who the legal owners are. And then from there, you take an assessment as to what the family needs are, whether they want to go and make economic use of the land, whether they want to sell the land, and then you move forward with the correct legal remedies. So I would leave my contact information in the, I guess, the chat section. And we will, if you have more questions or if you have a family or personal issue that you would like to run by me, please contact me. And I will definitely provide some tips and counseling on that.
Thank you, Dr. King. And again, we're going to share the contact information of all the presenters to all the participants that have registered. Next, we go on to the COVID-19 response from USDA's Food and Nutrition Services, where we have Branch Chief Katrina Camille. Ms. Katrina.
Thank you, Dr. Rainey, for providing this opportunity to share about the Food and Nutrition Service. I think I provided some slides. Do you have those available?
I do.
Okay, if you could advance to the second slide. FNS, our mission is to increase food security and reduce hunger by providing children and low-income people access to food, a healthful diet, and nutrition education in a way that supports American agriculture and inspires public confidence. We are responsible for the nation's 15 nutrition assistance programs, and over the last few months, like always, we've been busy feeding people. FNS works with our state agency partners to implement our programs. As a result of COVID, we were able to accomplish a few things. First, we did implement some new programs. We were able to increase benefits to our existing programs. There were a number of administrative flexibilities for states who, due to the social distancing requirements and all of the issues in servicing clients directly, were provided administrative flexibilities. And then, of course, for clients who were no longer able to work, also having to deal with the social distancing issues, we provided some flexibilities for our clients. One of the programs that you might be hearing a lot about, and one that we were really excited about, was Pandemic EBT. Pandemic EBT is an optional program that was authorized under the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And it provided a benefit for children who could no longer attend school. States had the option to implement. Arkansas, of course, did implement the program, and they were approved to issue approximately $96 million in food benefits to children who were no longer able to participate in the National School Lunch Program due to school closures. Those benefits, I believe, were issued in June of this year. There have been some questions about, the coming school year and benefits that we'll be able to provide under PBT in the coming school year, and those conversations are still going on at very high levels to determine what options we have. Since we're hearing that some children are going back full-time, some are hybrid model, so that's one of the things that we're still considering. The grab-and-go models, right after school let out, we found that the immediate response was for school districts to allow for parents to pick up food. So we continue to serve breakfast and lunch, children elementary age through 18 were able to go and pick up food to eat during the day. For programs like our WIC, our Women, Infant, and Children's program, it normally requires for the person to be on site. We allowed for physical presence waivers where they could continue to receive their benefits and not have to present in person, and then also issue benefits remotely to those households, and extended some certification waivers for those households. If you could advance to the next slide. For SNAP, there were a number of COVID-related adjustments and flexibilities as well. So primarily, we're going to talk about the emergency allotments for SNAP households participating in the program. It was clear that households needed more purchasing power during this response. So the Secretary of Agriculture did authorize for state agencies to provide the maximum allotment to households during the response. So during the duration of the response, the states continue to extend their emergency declarations. Anyone participating in SNAP will actually get the full benefit amount for their household size. It's not prorated based on income. Once they've provided the verifications to become authorized, they're provided the full benefit allotment to provide those households with more buying power. Also extended certifications. It became clear with most of our state agencies that were some still, teleworking, some going into a hybrid models where some of the employees were in the office. They weren't able to deal with, the incoming paperwork and things that would normally be handled in the certification process. So we work with state agencies to extend certifications for those clients. So many certification periods were extended past what they normally would have. Also requirements to provide interim reports, those were waived as well. One of the things that we saw a lot of interest in was our online purchasing pilot. For SNAP households, purchasing in person had been the model, going to a grocery store, buying things in the store had been the model. But we have expedited an online purchasing pilot, which allows state agencies to apply to have SNAP households be able to purchase online and have that food delivered to their home. Arkansas recently submitted that waiver, so it's currently being reviewed by our state agents, by our national office, and we should be getting a response to the state agency shortly. And then, of course, we've talked a lot about the waiver of the face-to-face requirements. We allow telephone signatures to accommodate households who could not present in person. And a lot of our activity is ongoing. As we look further into the next few months, we're considering what options might be available to the state agencies and our partner agencies, working with them to see how we can continue to deliver benefits to clients. Thank you all for giving me an opportunity to share just a bit about what we've been doing. That was a brief presentation, but all of the information concerning our waivers and what we've approved is available at our website. Also, if you'd like to reach out to me directly, my information is there as well. Thank you, Dr. Rainey.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that presentation. Next, we're going to move over looking at use of co-ops, a grocery co-op. With us, we have the Healthy Foods Coordinator, Ms. Brenda Williams from Communities Unlimited. Ms. Brenda? Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I am Brenda Williams with Communities Unlimited. I am the Healthy Foods Coordinator. CU is a nonprofit community development organization that works in 7 southern states. Communities Unlimited serves as a local food coordinator to identify market opportunities in areas with limited food access and make connections with area growers who are able to meet those needs. We are connecting growers to markets that opens up increased sales opportunities, which also improves consumers' access to locally grown healthy foods. We all know that COVID-19 has sent American agriculture into chaos. We have heard the stories of cows that still have to be milked, but dairy farmers have dumped millions of gallons of their output. Endless acres of lettuce remain unpicked at the peak of the harvest. Tractors have destroyed crops and they're plowing them back into the ground. And we've seen where people are lining up in their cars for emergency drive-through food distribution at food banks across the country. There are many farmers struggling that have been left out of federal aid, and some who received assistance that are still being hurt with COVID-19 losses. But having someone that is already familiar with some of their challenges and has a genuine interest in learning about their farms fulfills an important role in local and regional food access. Here in the Delta, where I'm from, small-scale growers are worried about where they're going to market their produce that they planted maybe many weeks ago. And they were originally going to sell it to institutional buyers. If you had the opportunity to visit some of these farms, which I have, you would see all this beautiful produce that was originally scheduled to go to the schools, to the restaurants and colleges. However, the closure of the colleges and the schools and the restaurants desperately shut down the food service industry, forcing growers to make difficult decisions on where to sell their produce. The small-scale growers, they're looking for a profitable home for their harvest. Through a grant from the Mary Reynolds Babcock Foundation, Communities Unlimited created the Farm to Food Pantry Project to support our local small-scale growers in the Mid-South Delta region and to provide donated fresh produce to Heartland Hands Food Pantry in the Delta. This project helps address the massive influx of need for food and helps growers that have faced unprecedented losses due to the pandemic and a decrease in demand for their fresh produce from institutional buyers. Communities Unlimited, we built a relationship with Heartland Hands Food Pantry, and it functions as a food pantry, but it also is a distributor to 23 community food pantries throughout 12 persistent poverty counties located in the Delta. We know that there has been an exodus of grocery stores that have turned rural communities into food deserts. COVID-19 has made fresh produce that was hard to find even worse for communities living in the food desert. Communities Unlimited, we are working to help people in low income and low access communities get better access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Too often rural communities, they have the typical corner grocery store and it has a lot of food, but what you don't see, normally you don't see, they don't have the healthy choices. So what we're doing, we're working with small rural communities to address the limited access to healthy foods because we understand that this is critical to building an equitable and sustainable regional food system. For many years, the low-income and rural communities, they suffered as the large grocery store chains, they disappeared. And so now these communities do not have access to fresh and healthy food. There are many communities across the state of Arkansas where nutritious and healthy foods are out of reach. So what are we doing about it? Communities Unlimited, we're working with the City of Gould to explore the development of a new retail outlet that will have a main focus of increasing access to healthy foods and improve the farm capacity of local growers. And the purpose of this would be to address the food desert, as well as to provide local and fresh foods from local growers. We believe that having a fresh food retail in these communities that sells healthy and affordable foods will make it possible for residents to eat more fruits and vegetables and to consume healthy diets. We understand that accessing healthy food is a challenge for so many Americans in rural communities. And we are committed, we're working to develop the retail solutions. We've already worked in numerous communities to address food deserts, such as starting with something small as a pop-up market or a farmer's market. Communities Unlimited is committed to helping communities in rural America living in food insecure areas to gain access to local and healthy food. Along with, we are committed and dedicated to the small scale grower and helping them expand their market opportunities throughout the Delta.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brenda, and excited to look at those developments there in the Delta. Last presenter for this session is the USDA Go Fresh program. We have Reverend Arthur Hunt Jr. and Lori Say from the Clinton Foundation. So go right ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. Actually, I work for the World Central Kitchen for the Pulaski County and Little Rock COVID food response program. So as we all know, when the schools shut down due to COVID, the city of Little Rock got together with several partners to determine how we were going to help students who were displaced have access to food. So the World Central Kitchen partnered with the Clinton Foundation, the city of Little Rock, the Arkansas Hunger Relief Alliance, and a bunch of other groups to figure out a way to mobilize food trucks and get food out to several different locations each day of the week to the city and the county students, including utilizing the school systems and the library systems. In our work to make sure we were reaching these students across the county, we know that this is just relief work that we're doing to make these meals available, taking advantage of the waivers that were discussed about grab-and-go meals at the schools and the libraries, and then us having private donors with the World Central Kitchen making meals at the Clinton Foundation, the Presidential Library, and distributing them from here out to the community. In the work that I was doing, the Farmer to Family USDA box program came up, and so we were lucky enough to be one of the recipients to partner with some of those contract awardees to get fresh food out across the county in two sites, and many of the organizations that we work with. So we were doing about 8,000 prep meals a day and about 25 to 3,500 boxes of produce, plus about 4,000 half gallons of milk a week doing that work. So because I'm a consultant and I work with many different groups, Reverend Hunt, of course, a friend of mine, through his Ready grant in Dumas, it just made me think this is a great opportunity to connect him to make sure that that group in Dumas, just like some of the bigger cities, have access to these farmer to family produce boxes, because a lot of people always think about the bigger cities and these small rural communities, of course, get left out, or they don't have large nonprofits that can help distribute these things. So we got Reverend Hunt and the Ready program through the Legacy Center in Dumas connected. Also, some other groups we worked with some folks in Eudora and Pine Bluff as well to make sure they had access while this is available to reach those families in need. So my role today is just to talk about how people, no matter how small the connection, there's always interesting things that you can connect folks to make sure they can take it and run with it and do good things with it. So through the Ready grant program and Arthur Hunt, his work in Dumas, I just connected them, and then I'll let him tell you about how that fits into the bigger picture for economic development in Dumas.
Thank you, Lori and Brenda. Those two presenters pretty much encapsulate a starting point for holistic empowerment. What we're doing is seeking programs, initiatives that are working, making sure that the underserved through READY. READY is REDI, Rural Economic Development Innovation. And you heard from our director, Director Branscombe, this is a national initiative, and this is a bonus plus in the midst of COVID-19. So the short and the time remaining, we are distributing through Go Fresh and the Arkansas Food Bank in these pockets, 30 counties through our Rural Economic Development Innovation, this Go Fresh weekly distribution. The total amount of food looks like about $500,000 if we run it through August. And my information is published here. We want sustainability, what Brenda, what CU, Communities Unlimited talked about, what Lori is doing, and any other synergy that you all know about through the various programs, agencies that we're listening to today. We want to make sure that we can go beyond August, beyond COVID-19. In rural Arkansas, pandemic is every day. And this is just a moment for us to bring emphasis and strategistical support to the people who really need it. So I want to thank Lori, thank you, Belinda Bell, and all organizers of this summit. My information is in front of you. That cell number is not correct, 870-623-8179. Our office is in Little Rock, and as Lori said, the Legacy Center in Dumas. Through Go Fresh, we're now covering a 100-mile radius based on information that I received today. So if we can help, we're here to partner and take it forward. So I'll stop there with our time at 2 o'clock ending.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of our presenters. Unfortunately, as Reverend Hunt just said, we are at 2 o'clock, but we will be addressing some of the questions there in the chat as follow-up throughout as we can identify, but please, all participants know all the presentations, the material that you saw on the screen, that will be sent out to you following the conclusion of this training.